Here's the twisted part no one wants to admit. The man she punishes the most is often the man she loves the most. It doesn't make sense on the surface. Why would a woman lash out, withdraw, criticize, or pressure the one man she actually wants to keep? Why would she create drama with the guy who treats her well? Why would she make it harder to be with her for the man who's trying the most? Because deep down she's afraid. Not afraid of him, afraid of how much he matters. And instead of facing that fear with courage and self-awareness, she fights it, she tests it, she punishes it. It's not about him. It's about her reaction to the feelings he triggers. Man is disturbed not by things, but by the views he takes of them. Epictetus. And that's the key. Stoicism teaches that it's not the relationship itself causing pain. It's the perception of it, the meaning assigned to it, the fear of losing it. That fear transforms desire into dysfunction. And ironically, it turns women into destroyers of their own happiness. They don't do it because they don't care. They do it because they care too much. Because emotional investment becomes a source of anxiety, not joy. Now let's break this down. Let's go deeper into the psychological battlefield, where affection turns into aggression and desire breeds self-sabotage. Because if you don't understand this paradox, the sick emotional reflex, you will mistake punishment for disinterest, when in reality, it's a disguised form of attachment. And if you're the man on the receiving end of it, you need to hear this before it breaks you. The investment paradox. Why she's kin to the men she doesn't care about. Here's how this plays out. You got two men in her life. Guy A is the casual one. She likes him, kind of. He's easy, low stakes. If he disappears, she shrugs. Guy B, that's you. You're the one who actually matters. You spark something deeper. Excitement, fear, possibility. You're the one she could build a future with. So what happens? Guy A gets grace. He doesn't text back for hours? No problem. She laughs it off. He cancels plans. She shrugs and makes other ones. But you're held to a different standard. You delay a response and she spirals. You reschedule and suddenly she questions your feelings. You miss a cue and she becomes cold, withdrawn, testing. Why? Because in her mind, your behavior means something. She's attached. And that attachment creates fear. Fear that you'll hurt her. Fear that you'll leave. Fear that she's not enough. So instead of dealing with that fear, she punishes you for causing it, even if you didn't. This is where the Stoic lesson hits hardest. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. She's not free because she's not in control of herself. Her emotions hijack the relationship, and the closer she feels to you, the more control she tries to exert over you instead of herself. And so begins the cycle. The testing begins. How women sabotage connection to feel in control. At first, it's subtle. She starts keeping score, watching, measuring. Did you text back fast enough? Did you sound excited when she called? Did you compliment her today? Every little interaction becomes a test, not to see who you are, but to measure how secure she feels. She doesn't realize it, but she's looking for reassurance. She wants certainty, but she's trying to find it through control. And Stoicism has a brutal truth about control. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus, that's what she's doing. She's abandoned her inner peace in favor of your behavior. Her emotional state now depends on how you act. If you pass the test, she relaxes for a while, but the bar gets higher, the stakes get bigger. And the tragedy? The more you show up, the more she tests you. The more invested you are, the more pressure she applies. It's not a conscious choice. It's an emotional reflex. She tells herself she's trying to see if you're real, but what she's really doing is bracing for pain. And in doing so, she creates it. The tests that have no right answers. Eventually, the tests turn toxic. You can't win. She asks you if you think her friend is attractive. Say yes, she accuses you of being unfaithful. Say no, she calls you a liar. You're damned either way. These aren't compatibility checks. These are emotional landmines, created by insecurity, not logic. And if you're a man who values peace over chaos, freedom over control, you start asking, why am I even here? The same behavior that used to earn appreciation now earns suspicion. Your affection is now interpreted as weakness. Your patience is now seen as lack of masculinity. She's not doing this because she wants to push you away. She's doing it because she's terrified of how much she wants to keep you close. The high-value man dilemma. Why he leaves. Here's the painful irony. The man who excites her the most is the man who's punished the most, is the man who's tested the most, is the man who is eventually driven away, not because he didn't care, not because he wasn't loyal, but because he refused to live under emotional tyranny. The stoic man, the grounded man, understands this truth. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. And when he realizes he can't change her behavior, he chooses to walk away, not in anger, not in weakness, but in discipline, because a man who's mastered himself will never submit to a relationship that forces him to abandon that mastery. Part 2, the pain behind the push and the stoic response. Here's what they never tell you. A woman doesn't hurt you the most because she stopped loving you. She hurts you because she can't love you the way she used to. Because something inside her, trauma, confusion, pride, won't let her surrender fully to the very man who makes her feel everything. And you thought your loyalty, your consistency, your silent sacrifices would be enough. But here's where the tragedy begins. The more grounded you are, the more she tests you. The more you stay, the more she wonders if she can push you further. Because love to her is not calm waters. It's chaos, fire, proof. And you, stoic in posture, loyal in silence, you become the battlefield where she tries to wage war with her own heart. Why is she doing this to me? That's the question you whisper in the dark when she's cold again, when her words are sharp and her affection vanishes like a ghost in daylight. But here's the answer Stoicism teaches. It's not about you. Her storms were there before you arrived. Your presence just brought them to the surface. You didn't break her. You just made her feel safe enough to unravel. But safety, to a wounded woman, feels like danger. And closeness, to someone unfamiliar with stability, feels like loss of control. So she does the only thing she knows. She hurts you to protect herself. Let that sink in. She's not attacking you. She's protecting herself from intimacy, from vulnerability, from repeating the pain she once swore she'd never feel again. So what do? You don't yell. You don't chase. You don't beg for the warmth that used to be there. And no, you remain unmoved, not because you're heartless, but because you understand that her chaos doesn't require your reaction. It demands your discipline. And that's where Stoicism wins. A stoic man does not collapse under emotional warfare. He does not seek revenge in silence. He does not turn bitter because someone else is broken. He observes. He endures. He learns. He knows. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius. The pain she causes? That's your path. Not becoming more cold, but more powerful, more stable, more self-contained, more sovereign. Because here's the truth, one that will haunt you if you don't embrace it. She will return, not when you're broken, not when you're crying, texting, pleading. She will return when she realizes the storm didn't shake you, when she sees the man she tried to emotionally destroy is the same man who walked through fire without flinching. That's the moment her illusion dies. That's the moment her respect is reborn. But it only happens if you do what most men never do. You stop trying to understand her chaos and start mastering your peace. Because love, no matter how deep, does not excuse disrespect. Affection is not an excuse for manipulation. And your emotional sanity is not a price you pay to keep someone who hasn't yet healed. That's not stoicism. That's self-betrayal. You don't rescue someone by losing yourself. You don't earn her love by tolerating her wounds turn into weapons. You win her heart. If it's even yours to win, by becoming a man unshakable in the face of emotional storms. And if she never comes back, you still win, because you kept your center. You didn't allow her pain to become your identity. You didn't let her confusion rewrite your worth. You loved. You stood tall. You let go like a stoic. Part 3. When her silence screams the loudest and the stoic still doesn't flinch. You survived the emotional firestorm, but now comes the aftershock, and it's quieter, colder, deadlier. Her silence. No texts, no calls, no apologies, just absence. And that absence, it's not peaceful, it's calculated. It's not distance, it's a test. Because the truth is, most women don't walk away to forget you. They walk away to see if you'll chase. And the silence, it's not emptiness, it's bait. She's watching, waiting, wondering, can he really live without me? Will his ego collapse without my attention? Is he still under my spell? And here's where most men fail. They interpret silence as closure. They think her quiet means she's over it. No, her silence is the loudest move she can make. It's her final chess piece. Because if you react, if you reach out, if you send that "I miss you" message she knew you would, she wins. Not your heart, not your soul, but your power. Because now she knows. Even after pushing you, testing you, hurting you, she still controls your emotional state. And a man without emotional self-control is a man she'll never fully respect again. This is where Stoicism saves you. When the world goes quiet, the Stoic goes inward. He doesn't seek closure. He is the closure. He doesn't fight for explanations. He understands not everything broken needs fixing. And above all, he does not chase silence. Because to chase a woman who disrespected your peace is to declare that your love for her outweighs your love for yourself. That's not romance. That's surrender. A Stoic man waits for no one because he knows if she wanted peace, she'd speak. If she wanted love, she'd act. If she wanted you, she'd show up. But silence, that's her answer. And he accepts it without complaint, without confusion, without bitterness. Not because he doesn't feel the pain, but because he refuses to make it his identity. This is what separates men who heal from men who repeat. The ability to sit with the silence without letting it become noise. So what do you do now? You rebuild. You refocus. You reconnect with yourself. You turn the energy you gave her inward. You take the time you wasted waiting and reinvest it into your purpose. You become stronger, wiser, sharper. So if she ever comes back, she'll meet a man who remembers the pain but feels nothing for it anymore. Because you didn't grow bitter. You grew disciplined. And that's the kind of man no silence can break. Not hers, not the world's, not even the silence inside his own soul. Part 4. When she realizes you're not waiting anymore, the shift that shakes her core. At first, she thinks you're just playing tough, that your silence is fake, that deep down, you're still bleeding out for her. But days turn to weeks. Weeks turn into a man she no longer recognizes. You don't text. You don't check in. You don't even flinch when she posts that story with another guy. That's when the panic sets in. Because for the first time, she can't feel you anymore. She can't read your energy. She can't predict your next move. She doesn't even know if you care. And this is where every woman starts questioning everything. Not because she still wants you, but because she never thought she'd lose your attention. See, a woman can walk away from a man, but when a man walks away from the emotional bond, that's a death she didn't expect. It's not your absence that hits her. It's your emotional detachment. She feels it in how you no longer validate her. She feels it when your name pops up, not with longing, but with peace. She feels it when she realizes you replaced her chaos with your calm. And then it happens, the subtle re-entry. She doesn't apologize. She doesn't admit fault. No, she tests the waters with a "Hey stranger" text, a meme you'd laugh at, a random "thought of you today" DM. It's not affection. It's curiosity wrapped in bait. She wants to see, do you still feel something? Because if you reply with warmth, if you show the slightest emotional residue, she knows she still owns real estate in your heart. But the Stoic man, He sees this for what it is: emotional manipulation dressed as reconnection. And so, he doesn't block her, he doesn't insult her, he doesn't play games. He just remains neutral. He responds, if at all, with non-attachment. Short, polite, dry, no bitterness, no longing, no interest. And to her, that's worse than rage, worse than jealousy, worse than being ignored. Because now she knows she's no longer special. And once a woman feels replaced emotionally, not physically, it haunts her. Because she didn't just lose a man, she lost her mirror, the one who reflected back her worth when she felt unlovable, the one who showed up even when she pushed him away. And now, that man no longer exists for her. She underestimated your peace. She overplayed her chaos. And now the storm she created, it's one she'll have to sit in alone. Because here's the truth most women never learn until it's too late. You can hurt a man who loves you, but you can't touch a man who respects himself more than he needs you. And a stoic man, he doesn't chase ghosts. He doesn't reopen closed doors. He doesn't regress into pain he's already healed from. He thanks her for the lesson. He blesses her with silence. And he moves on, not with spite, but with serenity. Because healing isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's simply never being the same man again. Part 5, when she wants you back, but can't say out loud. Here's the thing no one tells you. When a woman starts to regret losing you, she won't come back with a grand apology. She won't cry on your doorstep. She won't write a paragraph confessing her mistakes. She won't even say, "I was wrong about you." No, her regret will arrive quietly, awkwardly, like a stranger knocking on the door of a house she used to live in. And she'll say things like, "Hey, remember that place we went to once? I heard this song and thought of you. How have you been?" Just checking in. Not because she's ready to love you again, but because she feels the shift. She can sense you're not the same man anymore. You're calmer, more distant, more mysterious. You're not posting sad quotes. You're not orbiting her social media. You're not doing anything that says, "I'm still hurt." And that silence, it terrifies her. Because women are experts at sensing energy. They know when a man's attention is still hovering around them, and they know when it's truly gone. And that's when she starts to miss you, but not for the reasons you think. She doesn't miss your face, or your body, or even your presence. She misses the way you made her feel safe when she doubted herself. She misses the certainty she had that you'd always be there. She misses the emotional power she once held, the ability to shake you with a single word. But now, she sends a message, and you reply 4 hours later with, "All good, hope you're well." She posts a thirst trap, and you don't even view the story. She tries to bait you with another guy, and nothing. You're not reacting. You're not chasing. You're not playing. And suddenly, she's the one overthinking. She starts wondering, did he meet someone else? Did I push him too far? Was he the one man who actually cared, and I threw him away? Now she's trapped in a cycle of silent guilt and unspoken longing. And the more she tries to test your emotional temperature, the colder you seem. Because here's what she doesn't understand about the stoic man. You move on because you stopped loving her. You moved on because you started loving yourself more. And when a man gets to that point, no woman can pull him back with crumbs. See, she thought your love was eternal, but it wasn't. It was conditional on respect, on effort, on reciprocity. And once those vanished, so did the man she thought would never leave. Now she sees it. You were the calmest storm she ever held, and she let it slip through her fingers. She tried to provoke you. You didn't budge. She tried to re-enter your life. You didn't open the door. And that moment, that's when she realizes he's gone. And it's not because he hates me. It's because he finally loves himself more than he ever loved me. And the truth, that stings more than rejection. Because rejection still holds emotion. But your indifference, it tells her you've outgrown her. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And that's the wound she'll carry. Long after her beauty fades. Long after the other men leave. Long after the crowd stops clapping. because she didn't lose you all at once. She lost you every time she made you feel unloved, and you chose silence over reaction. And now, she's remembering you in private, missing you in silence, regretting you in conversations she'll never admit. But it's too late, because the stoic man doesn't hate her. He just doesn't need her anymore. Here's the unvarnished truth you've discovered through this journey. Women often hurt the men they love the most, not out of malice, but because of deep primal fears and unconscious patterns. They test, they punish, they create drama, all in a misguided attempt to secure love and commitment. But the irony is brutal. The more they push, the more they drive away the very men they want to keep. For the man who embraces Stoicism, this is not a trap. It's a lesson in discipline, detachment, and unwavering self-respect. You learn that your value does not lie in chasing approval or reacting to emotional storms. You saw that true power comes from mastering your own mind, standing firm in your peace, and refusing to be pulled into chaos. You now know the men women want to keep deserve respect, boundaries, and above all, their own peace. And the moment you lose yourself to their tests is the moment you lose them forever. But the stoic man doesn't just survive this truth. He thrives because of it. He grows stronger, wiser, and more free. If this series opened your eyes or stirred something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and comment your thought below. Because growth comes from reflection and conversation. And if you want to keep mastering yourself, mastering relationships, and mastering life through the power of Stoicism, make sure to subscribe for more truths delivered with clarity and courage. Remember, your peace is your power. Protect it fiercely. Live it boldly. Thank you for being here. Until next time, stay strong, stay steady, and goodbye.